Hello, I'm Quinn Kaden.
And I'm Rich Smith, and this is
Real Hunting.
Rich just sent me a text. He says, biggest buck I ever shot. And that's all it says. And I'm sitting here waiting for more, asking for more. He's ignoring me.
Oh my gosh. I just got out to the tree and I'm hanging my stuff up. My bow was hanging in the tree. And a big buck walks in. 20 yards. 20 yards from me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was able to grab my bow out of this. I had it in my left hand, flipped open the covers to see through the scope, and I was able to pull off a shot, but he was quartering away a long ways. But he flipped straight up and then turned around, ran that way into the tree, and then fell down. Oh my gosh, this is the biggest buck that I've ever gotten. It's not huge, but he's the biggest one that I've ever gotten. So yes, yes. All right, I can see him over there, so I'm gonna get down and we'll check it out. Holy crap. Holy crap. Okay. Boy, I don't even see where he come through. Oh, baby. Wow. That's the biggest deer I've ever got, I believe. Oh my goodness, I must have got a long shot. That was a horrible quartering away shot, but I saw this guy and I did not want to lose him, so I took the shot and it paid off. Woo! It did pay off. Look at that dandy. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a small 10, but the biggest deer that I ever got. Holy cow. Look at that dandy. Woo! Oh my goodness, you guys. Hope you can see that okay with me in there. Whew. Okay, coming down from my adrenaline rush to see this guy. I count 5 on each side, so it is a 10 point. Wow, biggest buck I've ever gotten. My goodness, where do I start? I did bump this buck when I was walking out tonight. He was in that thick stuff way over there behind us, and I saw him head over towards the tree stand, and man, 25 minutes later he come back through. What a dandy. So it was a horrible quartering away shot, but I was able to get him in the in his right side, and it came out right in the center of his chest between his legs. So he only went about 30 yards at the most. So wow, you guys, what an exciting time. That is just fantastic out here. Holy cow. All right, well, now I've got to get him field dressed and then get him over to a spot where I can get the ATV out here and then get him back to the pickup truck. So very cool. I'm super excited. Been waiting for this for years on this property. I probably 13 years. I think I've been out here. 10, yeah, exactly 13 years, starting in '07. So, woo! You know, I did get a deer every year, but it's been half this size, and I've been very grateful for that. You know, we eat the meat, and it's been awesome filling up the freezer every single year. And this is a treat right here. So, all right, thanks for watching.
Well, it's the morning of October 19th, and so far this season I've done sits in 4 different counties here in Michigan. I really haven't seen that many deer, but I'm extremely optimistic this year because my trail cameras are showing me some really good stuff. I've got some good bucks that are passing through properties, obviously in the middle of the night, but at least they're coming through. And a couple more weeks and we might be right there. So I'm always looking forward to about October 25th. That seems to be when there's like something that turns on and they start cruising in daylight. So that's coming up next weekend. And this week I'm just going to sit in the mornings. I'm going to sit familiar properties that I know have some big buck activity. In the evenings I have access to a new farm. I'm going to spend a little more time there, deploy a couple more cameras, kind of see what the season looks like. And once we hit October 25th, I won't be hunting any place new. I'll be hunting familiar properties with good trail cam data. You know, as much time as I spend shooting video throughout the season, talking about what's happening, talking about why I'm hunting a certain property, it figures that the one morning that I didn't do that, we had an exceptional morning in the woods. We were hunting this particular woods because of historical data and trail cam data. And what I did is I graphed out all of the dates of big bucks on different properties where I had daylight photos of deer. And this particular property had a spike on November 5th. So that was in the plan. Hunt there November 5, which is what we did. And this is what happened. Good luck. Thanks. So I'm hunting with my son Kaden this morning, and right after I shot that buck, another 8-point came through on my right, heading toward Kaden. And it took a while, but he finally got a shot at it and hit it, but not a great hit, a liver hit. And I can hear it back here in the cover. It's down, but it keeps getting up and down. It keeps getting up, and it keeps getting closer to me. So if it gets within range, I'll arrow it. Either way, we got 2 8-points in the same morning. That's pretty incredible. We were just about ready to head out of the woods and prep for getting our deer. And Kaden said that there's another really big buck around that you can see over here in the cover. He's hanging out by his deer right now. So, I'm gonna wait it out, see if one of us can get an opportunity at this. He says it's a really, really big 8-point, so that's the update. Hopefully. I hope Kaden can get him. He's the one who's seen him. I haven't seen him yet. I hope he gets a shot. Came along that far edge. I'm calling this the chute because it's just kind of like between the cover and the hill. He came along the far edge and it was kind of cutting right across here. And I got him stopped right here. Yeah. Look at that right there. Those white feathers aren't white anymore. So, Magnus Stinger 4-blade. Decided I'd shoot those again. You know, the fun thing about this is the first buck that I've shot with my bow in 6 years now. 2014 was the last one I shot with my bow. I got a couple crossbow deer in between. One of them I actually finished off with my bow, but it's not the same, you know. So I was really excited. We just put this stand up this year. It's a brand new stand in a brand new spot. And I have had 3, well, possibly 4 different 8-points I could have shot out of this tree already, so good deal. I'll start looking for blood here. I know kind of where he ran, so that helps. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm 20, 30 yards from the arrow right now. I know where he ran to, which was up into here, and I heard him go down, but I can't find any blood, so once we find him, maybe we can backtrack a little bit. We're just going to walk, kind of search the edge of the cover, because I think he's up here toward the road, based on what I heard. Shit, it's right here.
Is he?
Yeah. Looks pretty good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, he don't got no brows. He's a 6.
What?
Yep. That's a 6 point. Boy, he's pretty stiff. All right. Here we go. Nice 2.5-year-old Michigan deer. I took a chance on him. Thought with those G2s maybe he'd be a 100-incher, but he's not. But that's okay. I'm really happy to get one. Happy to shoot one with my bow. It's always so much fun. And this is only part of the adventure today, because Kaden's got a deer down too that we have to go find.
My deer's down up here. We were just looking for my arrow. Not very long after I shot him, we had a monster buck walk out, and he came out of this thick stuff over here and started heading towards the stand, which is right back there. But he stayed in the thick stuff, and I never got a shot at him. But then he caught wind of what I'm assuming he caught wind of my buck, and he walked back here and was sniffing him for a while, and after 20 minutes of sniffing him, he started sparring with my buck, which was dead, laying down here. So he started sparring with him and gouging into his rear end, so we're going to take a look at that when we get up here. But it was crazy. Biggest buck I've ever seen in the woods, but I couldn't shoot him. Some blood here and there.
So we just weren't on the trail.
Maybe not. Look at the gouges on his fur. Look at that. And all that dirt is from him getting pushed by that other buck.
Look at all the hair laying here.
Jeez. He was digging into him.
Nice buck, Kay.
Thank you.
You said he was actually picking him up and flipping him around, so
I could see his white and his rear end getting flipped around by this buck. And you can see the gouge marks here and here, up here.
all over, yeah.
Well, here we are, another beautiful day in Michigan, and we happened to do a father-son double this morning in Grandpa's woods, and had quite an adventure. This morning started out with hearing some deer movement across the river and down here. Had a doe snort at me getting into the stand. Man, I hope it works out. I hope we see something. I can see the road from my stand. I saw my wife on her way to work. I saw her slow down, heard deer run into the woods, so I knew something was up. She said there was a good buck across the road, and it just all started unfolding from there. I was watching the deer behind me that had come in, that had run across the road. I heard this guy coming. He came down the edge of the thick stuff, and I had to make a decision, you know, is he something I'm going to shoot? Is he something I'm not going to shoot? And I've been playing a big buck game for a long time now, and I haven't shot very many deer. And the last deer that I shot with my bow was October 1st, 2014, and here we are November 5th, 2020. So I'm happy that I got to heart shoot a nice 2.5-year-old Michigan deer. I saw those 6-inch G2s and I said, maybe he's the one.
He's a little smaller than I thought he was, but hey, look at how it played out. You know, we got to make some memories that are going to last forever this morning. I shoot him. I hear him go down behind me. I texted Kaden. I said, I just heart shot an 8-point. He's like, nice. And all of a sudden, from behind me comes this buck. And he was heading, I let him walk right by me. And he was heading up towards Kaden. I said, hey, there's another 8-point coming your way. And wasn't too much longer. Kaden put an arrow through him. So after that, things got even crazier, believe it or not. You go ahead and tell some of it, because you saw it, I didn't.
So I didn't have the shot placement I wanted on this deer, but it was still a pretty good shot, and he took a while to expire. And then after that happened, probably 20 minutes later, it was a doe and a couple yearlings. They came and they were sniffing back where he was down, which told me that he was down, and they were acting funny. And then I hear this buck grunting, but it's just this little 2-point. He has one antler and a fork, and he's been grunting all morning through the thick stuff. And then Dad texted me asking if I was ready to get down, and I said yeah, I was. And almost as soon as I said that, I look up and there's the biggest rack I've ever seen in the woods, huge buck. And I texted Dad, I said, there's still a big buck down here. And he started walking right at me. And I got lightheaded, honestly. He was so big walking at me. He was just this big 8-point. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tag out today. This is going to happen. And he turned right about where I shot this guy and headed into the thick stuff. And I texted Dad. I said, he's a monster buck. So he heads back into the thick stuff where this buck was down. And after about 20 minutes of checking him out, he puffed up, got all territorial, and started sparring with my buck while he's laying on the ground dead. So that went on for a while. You heard that where you were.
Yeah, I did. I could hear the antlers, could hear stuff breaking.
So I know we have to go get my buck, which is where this monster buck is hanging out. And I texted Dad, I said, I might be able to stalk him if he's distracted, all upset with this buck because he's laying in his spot. So I tried it. I snuck out where I would push the big one back to Dad if that did happen, but Grandpa clarified with us that he snuck out about the time I tried stalking on him. So
yeah, how lucky was that for us that my dad happened to look out the window at the exact time that buck left this woods and crossed the road, which is only maybe 150 yards back to the wood line there. He happens to look out the window at that exact moment that buck is running back through there to be able to clarify to us that, hey, he's not in the woods anymore. He actually left. Because Kaden tried bumping him back toward me, which, thank you.
You're welcome.
That. But, you know, it didn't work out. But it's sometimes you got to get down. Sometimes you got to get down and go after them because they're not coming to you. They're not coming out of the thick stuff. And in this case, he was completely distracted by this deer. So there was a chance.
I also forgot my grunt call. I was going to try grunting at him because he was definitely mad that this deer was in his spot. That's what I'm going to call it because he was acting territorial about it. But Dad tried grunting at him and he didn't really care. He was just upset.
When I would grunt, he would attack this buck. I could hear it up in the cover. I'd do 3 or 4 grunts, and then a couple minutes later, I'd start hearing this guy getting pummeled. So what did you do for your footwear to not break sticks when you were stalking that deer?
I took my boots off and just walked in my socks because my big clunky rubber boots are not easy to sneak with. And it's a lot easier to step lightly and step precisely where there are less leaves without my boots on. So I tried doing that, but
hey, it didn't work out.
Didn't work out.
You got to try, right? So here we are, Keon double, having a great day. Caden's got to get to class, so we got to get this wrapped up. It's 12:30, and I shot my buck, I don't know, around 7 this morning, and must have been a little after, based on Mom's timeline. Mm-hmm. So, you know, probably about 5 after 7, 10 after 7, I shot this guy, and yeah, just another gorgeous day in the woods. Hopefully we get some more opportunity this season. I still say this is the biggest racked buck I've seen this year. Mm-hmm. I had an 8-point that was smashing stuff down here. I think it was October 24th we were hunting. I had this 8-point come in, and he was all territorial over this 4-point that had been pushing a doe. and he started smashing stuff next to me, and I let him walk. And you know, this guy came in profiled, and I saw those tines, and I said, oh, he might make it. He might be the one. So he's a little smaller than I thought he was, but hey, at least I got to shoot one with my bow. My other property that has big buck opportunity on it, I've got all set up for crossbow hunting. I've got elevated blinds there that I can't shoot a bow out of, so I'm glad I have that opportunity here. A lot of people like to, you know, knock crossbow hunters, but I do both, because why wouldn't you? I also hunt with shotguns, I also hunt with handguns, and I also hunt with rifles, both bolt action, lever action, and even single shot. So why limit yourself? Have fun. The tools are available to all of us. So another gorgeous day here in the Michigan woods. We're so lucky to have this opportunity, make these memories together. I mean, isn't that more important than anything else? I'm trying to hunt big bucks, but making those memories with my kid, and even with my dad. My dad just happens to be home today. What a freak thing. So yeah, we're going to continue hunting this season. We still have another week of probably really good deer movement. We've still got firearm season coming up, so who knows what's going to happen. I can't wait to see what's next. All right, it's the afternoon of November 12. I'm going to sit in my tower on my east line today. If I'd have been there last night, I might have gotten a look at a buck. I sat my food plot tower last night thinking that there might be a good buck in the cover on the property, and perhaps he would follow does into the plot. I know they're coming into the plot before they're going other places. That kind of happened, but kind of didn't happen. I had 5 deer in the plot. One of them was a button buck. 2 doe fawns, 2 adult does. And the button buck started going nuts, running around in circles, just zooming all over the place. And first it was just in the food plot, but then he started running back into the cover and back out, and back into the cover and back out. I thought, if there's a big buck here, he's coming out now. And he did, but I didn't get to see him. He walked out of the cover. He was behind the food plot a ways. He gave one grunt, and all those does took off and went to him. And once they were all there, they were prancing around him, and then they pranced around him across the swamp. Then I heard my neighbor's dog start barking, so I'm assuming they crossed the road, and that was that. So if I'd have sat this other tower blind, I might have gotten a long look at him in the swamp. So a long shot look at him. How about that? So I'm going to sit that tonight, because my only daylight big buck photos that I have this time of year on this property are the evening of the 12 and the evening of the 13, and that's where we're at, and they're both over on the east line by this blind. So that's the plan. Some historical data, some current data, and trying to make the best decision with all that in mind. But oh yes, come on. He's going across the hill. Look what happened. Oh no, I hope my shot was good. I couldn't see it hit. Oh no. Oh no. Went up over the hill. this a couple of years ago, and I said, oh, finally I got one here. That is a big buck. I wondered why that other one all of a sudden busted out of here. I never even saw him coming. And I thought maybe I'm lucky and there's a big one. And I saw him back here, and I thought I saw white on his head. And I'm like, okay, get ready when he steps out. And he stepped out. I got these 2 ash trees here that I have to take out. Dang, I shouldn't have left them. So then I leaned over to make the shot. Smacked the blind. Oh, I hope it was good. I saw the bolt fall out of him. He ran a long ways. Did not look like a good heart hit, that's for sure. He was going up the hill. He's going to be in the cover over there. But I'm going to go. I got 30 minutes of light left, and I'm going to do my normal thing on this property. I'm going down the edge of the road over there to make sure there isn't blood. Crossing the road while I have light. There's hair. There's my bolt. Oh, it looks good. Oh, it looks really good. Yeah. So I'm going to drive down the road really quick looking for blood. However, I haven't found any blood. That whole time he ran across the swamp, not one speck of blood, nothing. So I'm very concerned about finding him. If he stays in the cover, no problem. I know where they bed at the bottom of the hill. That's where my one was 2 years ago. Ran the same route, ran up over the hill, down into the bedding area. I'm okay with that, but oh man, I was just hoping to see a good blood trail. And this is my first time. That was my first deer I've ever used a mechanical broadhead on. So I have some reservations. We'll see what happens. I got help coming, and like I said, if the light's fading, I'm going to go drive down the road, take a look, and I'll check back. All right, it's 7:19. It's been about 2 hours since I made this shot, so just to recap, I had some deer behind me in the swamp that seemed to be new deer. They were not familiar with the area, and there's a diesel engine place on the corner that is noisy. They fired up an engine, the deer got really nervous, went back into the fence row. I had, while after that, a stick broke, and out came trotting this 2.5-year-old buck. And I think he's the 8-point that I've passed up twice. And I thought, well, why is he trotting? Maybe he sees one of these deer over there. I don't know. Maybe he's running from something. So I kept watching where he came from, and through the cover, I saw white antlers. And I said, okay, here we go. Propped the crossbow up in the window. He stepped out, but stopped him. Had to make an adjustment and lean over. And when I shot, I couldn't really see the bolt hit. It just kind of went blurry for a sec. I thought it was a good mid-body hit. I saw the arrow come out on the second bolt, the second bound. He ran across the swamp and up over the hill. And then my crossbow the cam was stuck in the blind. My cam had actually wrapped the fiberglass pole there. So then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's gonna throw my shot off. What just happened? And finding the bolt made me feel a lot better. There's really good blood on it. Confident this deer is down. I found no blood at all. Trying to, going back across the path, across the swamp there where he ran. That's my path that I have to walk on too. I didn't find any blood. So I'm very nervous about that, so I have help. I have my son Kaden with me here in the truck, and behind me I've got my friends Ray and Tom, and the four of us are gonna see if we can find some blood, and if not, my guess is that small bedding area that's at the bottom of the hill right there is probably where he stopped. I drove along the edge of the other road looking for blood, looking for any kind of sign, looked out in the neighbor's field on the other side. I don't see any sign there. I think he's in the cover, and I think he's down. There is no blood. When we found like 3 little tiny drops of blood, there is no blood at all. And this is this is my first experience with a mechanical broadhead, so pretty nervous. But he's laying right there.
Your hit's right on his shoulder.
This is
Nice. I was all worried about nothing.
What is she?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got blood. Wow. Okay.
Whoa. Nice.
That's a nice one, man.
Look at that. Wow.
Nice.
Honestly, guys, I don't know this buck. I've got all these bucks on camera. I don't know this guy. This guy's a 9-point, and he's not the new 9-point that just showed up, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is.
Welcome to Rutten, Michigan. You never know.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. And you know, it's, I put so much emphasis on trying to shoot a big buck, but there's so much more to this than that, you know. We use these deer, we use the meat, we eat them. This is our main meat source right here. What a gorgeous deer. Probably a 3.5-year-old, and so very, very difficult to come by. I mean, I was just talking to Kaden on the drive here, and he said, you know, you always say you get like 1 day a year at a daylight opportunity at a buck like this. And I do. I get like 1 day a year where I get them on camera, and look at that. My gosh. What a beautiful deer. So that's going to tag me out this year, but I'm all right with that. Wow. 2 days from firearm season, and I get such a beauty. All right, guys, I'm on a total crash from an amazing high right now. That adrenaline boost is just something unreal to finally get an opportunity at such a nice buck on this property. Owned this property for 20 years. This is my 5th buck here. It's emotional, you know, to put so much time and effort into trying to figure out how to shoot a deer. I get photos of these guys. I get pictures of them mostly between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And there's just such a little window to get a daylight buck like this here. And I don't really even know what the secret to that is. It's definitely not November 12th, but that's what today is, November 12th. So historically, I think in 2012, 8 years ago, there was one really big buck that came through by that blind on November 12th in the evening. And so it's happened twice now, so you know where I'm going to hunt in the future. If it's November 12th, look for me there. It's just a privilege, an absolute privilege to get a buck like this. I mean, can you guys imagine when we were, 14 through 16 years old, walking around in the Midland County swamps, trying to figure out how to kill a deer with our bows?
What's funny, I was thinking that exact same thing when me and Kaden were standing here. You went to get the tripod, and just thinking back to the years that we spent out there just roughing it and learning on our own with not a lot of help from anybody, just
No
figuring
help,
it all out.
just trying
and
to figure it out.
To remember going from that all the way up to something like this is just an amazing adventure all the way through.
I think the vast majority of the help that I ever received is currently knelt down on my left and my right.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of headaches and heartaches trying to figure out how to shoot a 6-point. You remember that?
Even a spike.
Yeah.
Or even a doe.
Yeah.
How do we get a deer? And now here we are, lucky enough to be saying, oh, I'm going to let that one walk. I have let 18 bucks, not bucks. I've passed up 18 shots on bucks this year. I did shoot one last week, which we have already documented. A nice wide 6. We thought he was an 8-point, but I thought he was an 8-point. And Kaden and I doubled up in the morning, and we both shot deer. It was awesome. And then I've been trying to get a big one, and especially on this property. I'm so lucky because my 3 biggest bucks have come off of 3 properties that I have vested so much into over the years. A certain piece of public land in Midland County that's very important to me. Certain area of the UP that's very important to me. And now here on my own property that I've owned for 20 years, I get to get the gorgeous, gorgeous animal like this. I'm so, so lucky, and I'm lucky to be able to share it with family and friends and be out here tonight. So the shot, look at the shot. That's got to be a heart shot. How much blood is there, guys?
About a dozen drops total.
Yeah.
It's just, and drops, like little, like, oh, there's a drop. Where? I can't see it. Oh, it's the size of the end of a Q-tip. Great. So really, really strange. This is it's not necessarily the fault of the broadhead. I went right through the muscle layer at the top of the elbow. There's a lot of muscle there to bleed through. If I'm straight through and did it on the other side, that's exactly what I did last week with my bow. Exact same shot, exact same placement. We had 0 blood last week. 0. So this particular broadhead has a 2-inch cut. I would have thought that we would have had something on the ground more than what we had, but we just didn't. And that's the way it goes sometimes. So what do you do when you're walking out of the swamp and you got no blood and you got a good shot? You call for help. That's what we did. So I don't know what else to add to this. I appreciate this guy. I appreciate these guys. I appreciate you watching. I'm just blown away right now. So I guess with that said, we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.